Hello, everybody. We are back. This is Freddy Correa, and you are watching. Thanks for the invite podcast. Some of you are listening to it, and that's okay. But if you can, please make your way to YouTube and subscribe to youtube.com/Fredreker, Fredreker. Subscribe to the podcast, hit the notification bell, and give us a like. If you're watching on YouTube, might as well just leave a little comment. Give me a little emoji. Whatever you like. If not, doesn't matter. I'm just glad you're here. So we're going to be... Oh, I got to address this real quick. I've been asked by the podcast listeners, most of the podcast listeners, well, all of them, before I started doing video, were audio, obviously. And they're wondering, why isn't it on audio? It's going to come back to audio. So everybody likes to listen to Thanks for the Invite on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Pocket Cast, all that good stuff. We're going to bring it back. But I kind of did this where I released it on video on YouTube so we could migrate people over, and it could be a crossover. You know, I have podcasts that I like to listen to and some that I like to watch, specifically Legion of Skanks, Kill Tony. I like to actually visually, sit there and watch those like it's a TV show. I don't even watch TV anymore. I realized that all I ever watch is like do-it-yourself videos, home improvement, and podcasts. I don't watch TV. Every once in a while I watch the local news. But yeah, everything's on YouTube pretty much. That's why I really like the whole YouTube subscription. Here's a little plug for the overseers of this podcast on the great gods of Google. I think they charge $11.99 a month for premium, and you're able to download YouTube videos. You get a bunch of free movies with the subscription. You get YouTube music, which is like Spotify. You could turn off the screen when you're listening to a podcast, put it in your pocket, put your phone in your pocket. And I think that's one of my favorite things, just being able to turn off the screen. So if I'm watching a visual podcast and they're not really showing anything visually, but when they start showing a video, I pull out my phone like, oh, okay, all right. So that's a big benefit. I definitely recommend everybody jumping on that. There you go. It's a free plug for YouTube. Yeah. Damn it. And I don't get no money out of this. Oh, well, it's all good. The important thing is that you're here. And today we have an awesome episode. Oh, my God. We have Don Jamieson, okay, from VH1, That Metal Show. And you could also check out That Jamieson Show on the Compound Media Network with Anthony Cumia. I met Don Jamieson at LA Comedy Club about a month ago. He was performing on Butch Bradley's show, the 10 o'clock show at LA Comedy, inside the Stratosphere in Las Vegas. The Strat Casino. They changed the name to the Strat now. They're hip, The Strat. So he was performing there, and we became friends. He's from Jersey. We bonded because we both know several mutual friends, including Joey Diaz, who's from Jersey. Him, Jim Florentine, all three of them go and do shows out there in Jersey, sometimes in the city in New York. And he's a very pleasant person, super cool guy. And man, the second time we hung out, I was like, these kind of conversations we're having is like, I wish you ever have that where you're having a conversation with somebody and then you're like, I wish this was recorded, especially if you're a podcast fan, those kind of conversations, you're like, damn, this is so good. So I decided to ask him. I said, hey, I just started doing my podcast again on video. Are you free tomorrow or Sunday? And he was going to go see an Alice Cooper concert. He said, I got about 40 minutes to an hour to spare. I'll come to the club and we'll shoot it. And it was amazing, man. This episode is full of knowledge, full of history. Don has a history in comedy. He's been doing it for a long time. He has multiple albums. And if you make sure you go to his website and check him out, look him up on Spotify, YouTube Music. You could listen to a lot of his comedy. And And he also has what is it? I apologize. Terrorizing Telemarketers #7 with Jim Florentine. It's an album of prank calls. Not so much them calling people, but they're pranking telemarketers that are calling in, and they just start screwing around with them, and it's hilarious. I recommend starting with the very first one, which is COVID mask. It's definitely one of my favorites. They have the lunch specials, Echo referral, so make sure you check that out. But like I said, this was a really fun episode. You could also listen to him and watch him on the Compound Media. And look up YouTube videos. There's a bunch of stuff on there. There's an awesome episode. Shout out to Natalie Cuomo. Look up Natalie Cuomo and Jim Florentine and Don Jamieson. All three of them did an awesome podcast. They talk about music and comedy. So that's what you're in for today. Now, I want to get into Skankfest Las Vegas. And I'm just going to touch on it a little bit because there's a lot to go through. So I'm going to just kind of give you a little sneak peek of some of the videos I'm going to be premiering on the future episodes. I might premiere them in segments, and then I'm going to do a compilation like if it was a mini documentary. Mini, I mean very short, okay? You want to see a real Skankfest documentary, check out Jeremiah Watkins. He did an awesome documentary of the Skankfest that happened in Houston last year. But I documented some stuff, and I got to do little man on the street interviews with fans, comics. I went around with my iPhone and my little remote Bluetooth microphone. The audio came out great. And I got to ask some awesome, people, like, what was their favorite part of Skankfest, how many Skankfests they've been to, and what are they looking forward to, what was their favorite show they saw. And I got to interview, I can't believe I did. I was pretty nervous. I got to interview a few people. I'm going to just I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to let you watch it on this episode. I think I'm going to put about 3 clips. So my buddy, Colin, he was at Skankfest, and, I had met him back in Houston. We became buddies on this one, but back in Houston, he was a volunteer, and he was a volunteer here as well this year. And I recognized him. And after talking and, conversating about podcasts, he recommended, he's like, Freddy, why don't you, take advantage that you're here and go do some interviews, ask some people. He's the one that gave me the idea. I'm like, that's a great idea. I had thought of something like that similar, but no, it was like, this was perfect. And I'm like, I got the equipment. It's the last day of Skankfest. Let's do it. So shout out to Colin for giving me that idea. I also did a podcast at the Gas Digital. They had a recording booth. So if you have a podcast, you could reserve the recording booth from Gas Digital and go in there and bust out an hour or two, and they had 4 microphones, 3 camera angles, and Natalie from Gas Digital, the producer and editor, she was the one taking care of that. She was in charge of the whole process. That's where I ran into Colin. So Colin, when we were talking, the conversation was just great. I told Colin, hey, in the beginning of the podcast, jump in. Let's, and he was in there. And I had Sammy Solorio, my wife Lizzie Correa from Antisocial Butterfly podcast, also on video. And then I had invited Jeremiah Watkins. And if you don't know Jeremiah Watkins, look him up, okay? I'm always raving about Jeremiah Watkins, one of my favorite comics and podcasters. He's just hilarious. He does. I'm not even going to get into all the stuff he does. Just look him up and check out his podcast, Jeremiah Wonders, on YouTube. And so Jeremiah showed up. We did a podcast. I think we did about an hour or almost an hour. I didn't want to take up too much time, for Jeremiah or anybody, just to take the time while you're at a festival where you could be checking out YKWD or Air Griffin, Godfrey. You could be doing Kill Tony, but for them to take the time to be on my podcast, I was like super grateful, so I didn't want to take all the time. But that episode is going to be coming out soon as well. I gotta get that link from Gas Digital and then we'll put it up. Now where was I going? Oh yeah, the clips. Of course the clips. So shout out, I want to do a shout out to Kara and Lalo, who I met at a previous Skankfest in New York 2019, and also Katie Spring from the Facebook networking group for Skankfest. And there's a lot of great people that I got to meet face to face that I've met through the Facebook group, and I got to see them. It was so cool. Lindsay, she's one of the main people there working at Skankfest, and got to reunite and see people like Shannon Lee, Christine Evans, Rebecca, all these people that, like, Rebecca and Christine and Lewis are the main ones that take care of organizing Skankfest. But Rebecca and Christine are out there with their earpieces, just working back and forth and just doing, what do you need over here? Okay, I go over here. And, they're nonstop. They're machines. It's insane, the stuff they do. And I'm so grateful. Everybody is so grateful for them, for putting this together. So, yeah, I got to see people like, for example, Katie Spring. I saw her. I'm like, hey, I know you. I got you on Facebook. And I'm doing my man on the street. So I asked her, hey, do you got 30 seconds? Just want to ask you a few questions. And she's going to be on one of the clips today, as well as Kara, Lalo. Oh, and shout out to Max Law, a comic that I met who was also volunteering. And that's the thing that I don't get. There's some comics that, because, like, for example, if you've submitted to be part of the lineup, if you didn't get in, it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to volunteer, or I'm not going to buy a ticket. Well, first of all, if you're broke, I get it. The tickets were pricey and it was all worth it. But another awesome way to be part of it is to volunteer. There was a bunch of people that dropped out because they couldn't make it on their flights, and, they were just Hollywood talking. Some people probably just said, oh, it's not going to matter, but it did matter because at the end they needed more volunteers. So Rebecca hit me up and I tried to get recruit some people and stuff. But Naked Roast Battle, that was another way of getting in. There was comics that I recruited, like TC Morgan. Who else did I? Oh, Chris Waldick. Both ended up winning. So, I'm 2 for 2, or 2-0. I don't know. How do you say it? Well, yeah, 2 for 2, right? I don't know. I almost cussed. I'm trying not to cuss, especially in the first 5 minutes of YouTube. I heard that you could get flagged if you're cussing. So if you hear me cuss, leave me a comment and say, hey, why'd you cuss? Damn it, I hope I didn't cuss. Because I hate editing. I don't want to go back and listen to it again. Anyway, that's another way to get into the podcast, into Skankfest. And you get to network with people. Now, I heard comments from some people, they're kind of bitter about it. It's like, well, I'm not going to show up and volunteer. It's like, okay, I guess you're in another level, whatever. It's all good. I've been to Skankfest 4 times, and 2 out of those times I bought a ticket. I didn't know. I was in 2019, I was part of the lineup. And then in Houston, I wasn't, but I bought a ticket. I'm like, I'm going to go. This is a freaking party. I want to be part of this. I'm not going to miss this for anything. So this year, I did the same thing. I didn't know. I submitted, but just in case, I bought me and Lizzie a ticket each. And I got very lucky, and I was able to be part of the lineup this year. So then I was scrambling to get rid of my tickets, but it worked out. I had the owner of LA Comedy Club come out, Brant Tobler, and they used the badges that I had that I paid for. So, but to get back to the point, speaking of Max, the comic that he's going to be on one of these clips. That's so cool that there's a lot of comics that they love this festival so much that they're like, I don't care, I'm going to go and volunteer, and by doing that, that's already a foot in the door for a next one. You start networking, Rebecca's going to notice, oh, wow, this guy over here, he helped us out quite a bit, and it's going to be different next time around. And you might be able to get into the festival and be part of the lineup, because they have a section of the up and coming comics, which I am part of, and then the ones that are established comics, the pro comics that have been doing this for a while. So that's all I wanted to say on that. So shout out to Max. You know, I didn't know he was. I went up to him and I thought he was Will Sylvans, and he told me, he's like, I apologize. He's like, no, it's not me. I'm like, and I apologize. I'm like, damn it, you know. And he's like, nah, you're not the only one. There's been other people that have said that. So I'm like, all right, cool. But when you look at him, you're gonna notice he does look like Will Sylvans. All right, guys. So let me show you this clip. These couple clips of Skankfest, and then we'll come back and get the show started. I'm over here with Katie Spring.
Hello, yeah, that's my name.
We met on Facebook on the
sure
Skankfest networking group.
Mm-hmm.
How many Skankfests have you been to?
This is my second. I went to Skankfest South last year.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you like this place in Vegas?
I like it a lot. I like that there's more venues. Skankfest South had kind of the vibe was a little better just because it was smaller, but I get they want like more people, so
It's grown, yeah.
but it's still fucking great. It's
still great though,
I'll
right?
go every year or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Now, like, I went to the first one, I was like, that was the best time I've ever had. I'm like 40 years old. It was the most fun I've ever had. So I'll keep going. Legion of Skanks was great. I saw Maddie Smith earlier in the tank, which is like all just, it's a very weird room. It's like a theater.
I did it
but
yesterday.
Maddie Smith's hilarious. Oh, you did? You went up?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, no, she was really good. And I'm hoping to see Bastard Radio, but I'm going to see if I get in.
Thank you so much, Katie. And I'll be posting it on my podcast. Thanks for the invite.
Cool. It was very nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I've seen you on there all the time.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, keep recording. I'm just taking a shot. I'm over here with Lalo and Kara.
Hello. What's up, Freddy?
What's up, my man? I met you guys at Skankfest 2019
We did, yeah.
in New York City.
Yep.
And I was so surprised because I'm like, holy shit, Mexicans
Yeah, I know.
at Skankfest? Finally!
I know. I spoke in Spanish to you, and you're like, okay, we're good.
It was so cool, man. It was really cool. It was really awesome to see you guys because I'm racist.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. We'll edit that. How'd you guys like Skankfest New York?
Dude, are you kidding me?
It was good.
The
It was
pizza?
smaller, yeah.
How much is a change from 2019 to Vegas now?
This venue is way better than the one that was in New York for sure. It's more spread out, and so it seems bigger, but it's kind of the same. But I like this venue way, way better.
You like it?
Yeah, the other one was darker too. This one has more light and stuff. The other one seemed just very like dungeony. But the people didn't change. The people are all super nice, and I see this all the time. You look, if you just pan across the crowd and you look at everybody, you would think, okay, there's gonna be tons of fights. That's not gonna be a good situation. No, everybody is so nice, like extremely nice.
It's just all love. It's all love here. It's all love. And that's the best thing about Skankfest, is everybody loves each other. Everybody takes care of each other. We help each other out. If you need something, we got you. You don't even have to ask for anything.
Yeah, man. I bumped into some people accidentally. I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry if I was touching you, bumping you. They're like, nah, bro, you can keep bumping me. They're hella cool. It's all love, dog.
Yeah, everybody's trying to hug each other, take pictures. It's great. And then, like, all the artists, they just walk through and they're not bothered. They're just having a good time, just like you.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for doing this little interview.
Appreciate it. Thank you for interviewing us.
What's you guys' social media?
Oh, man. It's G.O_Ordonez.
No, it's not. You don't even know your aunt.
I forget. It's Skankfest. I'm
gonna
drunk.
We're gonna put it on the screen.
It's Skankfest. I'm drunk.
Kara, what about
Mine's
yours?
Kara Cara.Denise Denise and then a underscore.
And what is your doggy, which I just recently followed?
Douglas, and it's Douglas gonna be sleep.
Here's my man Max right here. Where you at from, brother?
Out of Austin, Texas. I do shows in Austin, Texas, out of Creek and Cave.
Yeah.
And Rebecca invited me to come and help her with security.
What is your favorite memory of this weekend?
Bro. Like the thing that comes to mind is hormonal soup.
Yeah.
Right? It's all the serotonin, all the dopamine, all the good shit feelings somehow in a thing called Skankfest with no loss of life, limb, or eyesight.
Yeah, man.
What the fuck?
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
Dude,
Thank you so much,
man. You guys are the greatest fans in the world, and I really appreciate that, bro.
I appreciate you, brother.
Dude.
And what is your Instagram? What's your social media?
Pothead chimp on all platforms. A chimp that smoked pot, all right? I stole it from Terrence McKenna because it's a guy that talks about mushrooms and says stoned ape theory. So I smoke weed, so why not pothead chimp?
Max, I appreciate you so much,
Appreciate
brother. Big J, how you doing, man? My name's Freddy.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good, brother. Do you think I could interview you for 30 seconds?
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm over here with Big J Okerson, one of my heroes right here. What is your favorite? That's right. What's your favorite part of Skankfest, brother?
Oh, this year I did my special here. I taped my new hour special, so that was super exciting and stressful and such an energy dump. But all that said, best thing still was jamming a gun up Lewis's ass.
I missed it, but I can't wait to see you on the podcast. Thank you, brother.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, brother.
You,
Appreciate it, man. Hell yeah. Whoa. Can you believe that? Big J. And there's more coming, by the way. On the next few episodes, like I said, I'm going to be putting out more clips. It was cool, man. I was shaking. I was nervous. That was pretty awesome. And thank you, Correa, Katie, and Max as well for jumping on. And I'm going to do that compilation. Check it out. This is Cutie right here. This is my daughter. She's a year and 1 month old. Found her in El Paso. I rescued her. And I named her Cutie, QT, after Quentin Tarantino. Because when I first got her, she would just run to my feet and lick them and kiss them. And I'm like, she has a foot fetish. Kind of like Quentin Tarantino. So that's her name. Quintina. That's her name. She looks sleepy. You sleepy, mama? She was also one of the stars of Skankfest, by the way. Everybody that saw Cutie was like, oh, can I pet your dog? What's her name? And they loved her. And then she ran into her friend, Snoopy. A lot of you that were at Skankfest know who I'm talking about. Snoopy was hanging out over there. And he's trying to get with Cutie, but Cutie's too young. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And like I said, if you're listening on audio, please come out and join us on YouTube. And did I mention Patreon? I got Patreon now. And Patreon, it's only $3 a month for thanks for the invite. And you're going to be able to access early episodes. We're going to be putting out more content. And just to show your support, if you join us on Patreon, it's one of the cheapest out there. And, you know, we're going to be putting in a lot of work. So thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoy the show. And here is Don Jamieson, live from LA Comedy Club inside the Strat, Las Vegas. All right. What was that?
Look at the hair.
Yeah, it's looking great. I can see why you don't want to put the headphones on.
So, no, you don't mess something like this up.
No.
I call this 2 weeks from a mullet.
2 weeks from a mullet.
Yeah. That's what I say when I go in to get my hair cut. I go, just give me the 2 weeks from a mullet.
Hell yeah. So on this one, they're kind of bi-directional. If you just kind of point like, let me see, like that, and it's perfect. I feel weird telling you because you're a professional broadcaster. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Well, no, I mean, we got to get you to the point where you don't have unidirectional mics.
Yes.
We got to get you big time.
Yes.
To have the omnidirectional mics.
Yes, that's what I need. See,
yeah.
You know what's up. See? Yeah, man. On the way over here, my girl and I were listening to the new album you and Jim Florentine did. Terrorizing Telemarketers Part 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 volumes of nonsense.
It's so great because I was telling my wife, I'm like, it just proved that no matter what, like comics, we never grow up. There's so much fun prank calling, especially when they're calling you to solicit and then you guys pull a fast one on them.
Well, that's the thing. You know, they're all incoming calls. That's the kind of our hook on it.
Yeah.
And everybody hates telemarketers. So they're the perfect target, you know.
Yeah.
From 8 years old to 80, everyone thinks telemarketers are annoying. They call at all the wrong times. And so, you know, people don't feel bad for them when we twist them up.
Yes. Yes, because it's not just some innocent person. It's somebody that's like trying to pull a fast one on you by getting your credit card number,
And now it's really devious, man. Like, especially because, like telemarketers are like the COVID of phone scams. They prey on the elderly and the vulnerable.
Yeah.
And they got the system down now where if they could just get you to say yes, they start running your credit card and all this stuff, and it's like, man, they're scum, man. So, I never feel bad, man. We get revenge on them for all the people who actually go out and work for a living, and we sit in Jim Florentine's basement and just torture these people.
I forgot to do this part.
Yeah. Okay. I'll edit that out. Rolling. Well, we've been rolling, so now it'll be fine.
I was gonna say the track we were listening to was the COVID mask.
Yeah.
Hilarious, bro. Oh my God, we were dying laughing.
It was funny because I just put my hand over my mouth.
Is that how you
and so every time the guy, of course, I was the only one who had that important piece of information. Yeah. And every time the guy asked me, I was like, I can't hear him. Tell him to take the mask off. Jim's like, he's not vaccinated. He doesn't want to take it off. He doesn't want to give it to you through the phone.
Like, you can't get it through the phone. Well, this is the new variant.
Yeah, I saw it on CNN.
Yeah.
It's funny how when I have a good line, he could hear me all of a sudden. Yeah. But then the minute he needs that one piece of information,
I heard a 3. Yeah. I think I heard a 3 and a 4.
Did you hear a 3, sir? No, I just heard.
Oh, it's hilarious. Now, I was trying to think, from a creator point of view. I'm like, so do you guys wait till like they call you, or you say call me at this time, and then you run down to the studio and record? How does it work?
Yeah, well, no, it's literally his basement.
Literally his basement.
And so the last one we did, I think it was like 2017. So we haven't done one in like 5 years.
Yeah.
And it was funny because he has a landline just for us to record albums. So we're like a band, but instead of plugging in instruments and amplifiers, we just plug in the landline.
Yeah.
And the minute we did, the phone started ringing. Like the same companies from 5 years ago were still calling that same number, because once you're in the system, right, and then you get kicked out to other systems, and then the next thing you know, you got this onslaught of calls.
Yeah.
And we're just down in the basement,
we got to call. Listen, get the microphone, go.
2 middle-aged guys sitting in the basement, messing with telemarketers. Even Jim's 12-year-old son, him and his friend would stand up at the top of the stairs and listen and giggle. And we came up one time after doing one of the calls, and his 12-year-old kid goes, "You guys are so immature."
I know, right?
I go, we found our target audience, 12-year-olds.
That's the thing. We don't grow up, and part of why I also loved Crank Yankers is like, before I got into comedy because I was prank calling. I would prank call this radio station, and there was one of the DJs on the station. He was a comic.
Where'd you grow up?
Reno, Nevada.
Oh, you're Reno, okay.
And I was prank calling, and I went to see this comic live one time, and I told him, hey, I confessed to him, like, hey, that drunken Mexican character and these characters, it was all me, man. I'm sorry. He's like, no, it was fun. Because they would play along.
Yeah.
And then he's the one that told me, he's like, dude, you should try to do comedy. Hit up an open mic. And I finally did it.
Well, that's how Larry the Cable Guy got started.
Really?
Yeah, because he was just Dan... whatever his
Dan
name.
Whitney, right?
Dan Whitney.
Yeah.
And he was funny, but but he had no hook.
Uh-huh.
But what he used to do is he created that character, and that's how he called in the morning radio shows as Larry the Cable Guy. That was his character. So it was the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then he was like, wait a minute, I don't want to be Dan Whitney anymore. Everyone likes Larry the Cable Guy. So, keep that character in your back pocket.
Keep it in the back pocket, right?
In case Freddy doesn't make it.
Yeah, exactly. Drunken Mexican.
Yeah. Did he have a name?
Yeah, no, he just went by, hey, this is Drunken Mexican, and like it was just dumb, typical accent. I didn't even do it right now, but it was like a day show, like a morning show, and he was already. The point of it was that he was already drunk in the morning.
Right.
He was always drinking, and he was a stay-at-home dad. His wife was the one working, and whatever they were talking about, and they wouldn't even filter the calls.
Right.
So it was ridiculous.
Yeah, they don't have any screeners or anything.
No
so
screeners.
You're getting through.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was Panama in the morning.
But that's the thing, man. Now you're in the game a while now, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like whatever kind of creative stuff we could do around the live performance. That's where you get your rocks off, right?
Yeah.
That's where your dick gets hard, man. Is being live on stage. Can I say that on the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it is, right? That's how your dick gets hard, is the live performance.
Yeah.
But then we have all these other outlets that we can use too.
Yeah.
To be creative and whatever. And the stuff me and Jim do are so silly and yeah, we never grow up. And the thing I loved about the new record, man, is it debuted at #1 on the comedy charts.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's the levels of absurdity just keep coming and coming. So I appreciate it, man. But prank calls everyone loves prank
Everybody,
calls.
it's always when Star 6-7 came out, it was like the golden years back in the 90s. It's like you could just block your number and just call anybody. Was it Star 6-7 or Star 6-9?
Star 6-9, yeah.
Star 6-9, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's plug also your website. Where could people find you? I like to do plugs up front sometimes. So.
Yeah, DonJamieson.com.
Cool.
JAMIESON.
Yeah.
Got the I and the E in there. And then, I got all my socials. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. People can find me.
You have a great following, man.
I'm on Grindr.
Grindr.
That's where I met you.
Yeah, that's
you remember?
That's where we met. I thought it was just a place where you find podcast guests.
It is. Because everyone has one, including me. I have a show called That Jamieson Show.
Yes.
Where I interview rock stars and stuff. And, that's, my audience is weird because it's like, it's like a third sports, third hard rock, heavy metal, and a third just people who like me as a comic.
Yeah.
And it's and depending on where I am, like in Home Depot, they know me from the sports shows that I did.
Uh-huh.
But I'm going to go see Alice Cooper tonight. Everyone will know me from that metal show.
That metal
and then
show.
Some people, and then I did when I was here actually the other night. At the LA Comedy Club, someone was like, "Oh, bro, I didn't even know you did that metal show. I just knew you as a comic and stuff." So, I just have these three, weird audiences that commingle, and
that show was huge.
It's great, man. Yeah.
When did you start pursuing comedy? Like, when was it?
There's only 4 in each of those categories, but I have 12 fans.
No, he's lying. He has a huge following. I was like, because I found you on Facebook and I followed you. And the interaction you get on your posts and everything is like, oh man, that's cool. It's like,
yeah, because my crowd's a little older.
Oh yeah,
they're all on Facebook. They just got off MySpace like 2 weeks ago.
So did you start in the '90s comedy or when?
Yeah, like right around. I messed around with it, but not seriously. Starting about '94. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't really. Probably '99 was where I started doing it hard. You're like, okay, I'm doing this now. Yeah. So that's I'm like 22 years in now, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got a lot of albums.
Yeah, I got 4 stand-up albums, and we have the 7 Terrorizing Telemarketer albums, and so yeah, man. It's just. It's great, man. It's great to be able to put out different stuff too, not just have people waiting for your next stand-up album.
Yeah,
we could throw the Terrorizing Telemarketer album in, or Jim and I used to do these DVDs called Meet the Creeps, where we did this hidden camera comedy, like hardcore stuff. So then we used to put those out every couple of years too.
Yeah.
So it just keeps your fans interested.
Yeah.
Now content is king. People don't really buy DVDs anymore.
Yeah.
They just go on YouTube, like where they're watching this right now.
Yeah.
But it's same principle, right? It's like you want to put out content, man. That's what people want, content all the time.
Yeah. The consistency too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How often does your show come out on the Anthony Cumia network?
Yeah,
correct?
on Compound. Yeah.
Compound.
So every Tuesday I'm live there at 7 o'clock.
And people
Eastern
could go
time.
in and see the archives too, right?
Yeah.
Every show. Okay, cool. That's dope.
Yep.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's a subscription service, but you could just hop on and get a day pass.
Nice.
Check it out. But there's also a bunch of free ones on YouTube that you could check out. If like I said, man, it's not. I mean, it's a funny show, but it's me interviewing rock stars.
That's cool, man.
And so many of them become my friends over the years, so I can we can bust balls and have a good time with them.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So did you in the early 2000s then pretty much? Is that when you met Jim Florentine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I met him actually before that.
Oh yeah.
And I used to go to gigs with him. And just because I loved comedy, man. I've always been a massive comedy fan.
Yeah.
And I remember he took me to a gig. Like, I like all the classics, man. Pryor, Carlin, Cheech and Chong, and Dice, who's my favorite of all time. But the guy that inspired me to actually do stand-up was, I remember I went to this gig with Florentine. It was at a strip club. And the MC went up, and he literally had a 0 on a scale of 1. Not a chuck, not a breath in the room.
Oh, shit.
It was death. But I saw him walk off the stage. He went up to the manager. Guy gave him a handful of cash, and he went next door and spent it on strippers. And I go, I could suck that bad.
That's hilarious.
So I did it. I tried it a few months later. I got about 4 mercy laughs, and now it's 22 years later, and now I get 6 mercy laughs.
I've never heard it put that way. I could suck that bad.
Yeah.
Usually it's like you go to an open mic and you're like, I could be funnier than those guys. Like, no, I'm just good with sucking that bad. Yeah.
I set the bar low, Freddy.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's good. It shows, and then, you're humble too. It's like, I remember the first time I went up, I got laughs, but that's because I bought a shitload of Mexicans to this little bar. So they were laughing at some stupid shit.
Yeah.
But just because they were my friends.
Yeah.
And then I had my real bomb the third set when no one showed up. That's when I was like, oh, I suck.
But that's the thing, man. You will always bomb.
Yeah.
But if hopefully the longer you do it, the less you bomb.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. That's you stay humble, man, because there's always a crowd hiding around the corner waiting to take you down a peg.
Yeah.
When you least expect it. Like when you just done 50 great shows in a row, it's coming, bro.
It's coming.
They're coming for you.
I smell a bomb coming.
And guess what? You completely forget about the 50 great ones instantly.
Yes.
Yeah. I would say no comic ever destroyed a room and ran back to their hotel and rewrote their act.
Yeah, no.
You got to have those nights where it just, oh man, that was rough, and and people are like, come on, let's go out, we're going drinking. No, I'm going to the room, I'm rewriting my entire act because I can't have that shit happen again.
Yeah, I could smell it. It's on me. And also like the whole bombing. Sometimes like you could bomb while you're trying out new material, right? I don't know what your structure is. Like I like to do some stuff tried and true, like a shit sandwich, and then I do the new shit in the middle, and then I bomb, and then I bring him back. But it's like sometimes that could just fuck up the rest of the set.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like musicians can practice in their garage.
Yeah,
we got nowhere to practice.
That's right.
So you got to make the shit sandwich, because otherwise then you're just doing the same material over and over and over again. And if you're lucky enough to get some clout in the business and go out and be a national headliner, and you're coming through wherever, Vegas or Ohio or whatever, and it's like, now you're building a crowd there. Now they want to hear the same material over and over again.
Right.
So we have to work it out live.
Yeah.
That's the only way we could do it. Way. But when you're first starting out, that's all you have.
Yeah.
Is just what you have. Like I'm doing 20 minutes. I have to do every joke that I have. Yeah. We have no room for flexibility. You got to do the whole thing. Yeah. Then once you build up enough material, then it's easier to slot new stuff in. Because okay, I could put 2 killers around this thing I'm going to say for the first time ever, on stage. And then it's okay because you could recover with the next joke.
How do you write your material? Is it always pen and paper or on stage?
Always.
Yeah.
Always pen and paper,
Pen and paper. Okay.
Old school. And and I get, because I lived in New York City, and there would always be these little like index card flyers for like bands and stuff. Like if you went to a show, there'd be a stack of them. Mm-hmm. I would just take a whole stack of them. Yeah. Like a whole stack of red band flyers, and I'd write the material on the back. I connect to it better that way.
With index cards then?
Just, writing by hand.
Okay, writing by hand.
Yeah.
And what's your style like? Like you mentioned the index cards, do you put like a joke on each index card?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's dope.
But then it's not a good system, Freddie. No? I'll be honest with you. No, because then like I'll be I'd be sitting here, right?
Yeah.
Trying before I go on inside here at the LA Comedy Club, and then then you get in show mode, and that's all you're focused on, and then next thing you know, you're talking to people, and then you leave.
Yeah.
And then the busboy comes. puts all your notes in the fucking garbage, and you just lost like 50 jokes.
Yeah,
and you got to try to remember and rewrite it and stuff. So it's not a great system.
Not a great system.
But I do.
I'll try it out.
I do connect to it, and again, with if I write it down, then it stays in my mind.
Yeah. I do my setup, my set list with bold letters, and then like if there's something I want to do brand new, I'll put a title to it. But then I go back and listen to my bomb or whatever it is and see why I didn't, and then tweak it up, right?
Do you type it? Do you write it at all? Or you just...
I do both.
Yeah.
So I on the laptop, I'll have a file where I have all my jokes. Yeah. And then I have a shitload of notebooks all over the place.
Yeah. Right.
The other day, I had these little ones. Now that my wife, she's new server at LA Comedy Club, she took my notepad. I'm like, where's my notepad? And she wrote a bunch of drink orders on it. I'm like, what the fuck? These are my shitty jokes.
Yeah, you're up there in front of the crowd doing drink orders. Yeah. When did I write this? This bit sucks. Yeah. 2 vodka martinis. Anybody?
This guy knows what I'm talking about.
I didn't write this. But everyone has their own method to the madness.
Yeah.
However you get there. And I used to write out the set list and like really concentrate and memorize. And now I just, when I perform, man, I just come up with the first joke and then see where it goes from there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's just dope. Because here's the thing, man. Look, I think the best asset a comic could have is being a good listener. You want to listen to what the crowd's responding to. You don't want to just roll your fucking joke tank over the top of them. I mean, you can do that sometimes, but I just sort of like, okay, let me put the first joke out. Let's see what the reaction is, and then we'll pick a path from there.
That's dope. That's very interesting, because then it's kind of like your Neo. You see the Matrix, okay, this didn't work. I'll dodge that one.
Right, yeah.
Here comes this one. Yeah, and well, how about, do you always have the same closer? Or do you have multiple closers?
When people say, where do you want the light? It doesn't matter. I have no closer.
Yeah.
Just give me whatever the light you want to give me. Give me a minute light. I can end on anything.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's professional, bro.
Well, I don't know if it's professional. I don't know if it's a good system, but...
That's good. I mean, anybody that's running time, they're always going to love you if you end right on time, you don't run the light.
Yeah, so, when we were here the other night, man, it's just like... I kind of had a thing in my head what I wanted to do. And next thing I know, the light came on. I was just like, okay, I'll just wrap it up, man.
Do you record the audio of your sets?
I used to, man. I almost never listened to that.
Never?
Yeah, I did, but I usually, as soon as I get off stage, I make mental notes really quickly,
Hell because it's new shit you might have said too.
Yeah. So that's more these days. That's how I do it.
Nice.
Like I go in I'll tell a new joke and I'll go in my head. Oh, it needs I didn't set it up good enough. They need more information, and I'll write that down.
Yeah.
As soon as I get off stage.
Yeah.
And I'll put those notes in my pocket, and then I'll go rewrite it.
Wow.
Rather than listen to a whole set again.
Yeah, just do it right away. That's cool, man. So when you started in the early 2000s, I'm over here, thinking, I didn't even cross my mind I wanted to do comedy at the time. I was 18 in the year 2000, I want to say. But I was such a big fan of comedy. I loved Greg Giraldo, Mitch Hedberg, all these guys. And then I finally did it in 2011, right? But I guess what I wanted to go to was was there ever a time where you wanted to do it before you actually did it? Like you said, 99 was the time when you did it, right?
Well, hard.
Okay.
But yes, right before that.
Right before that.
I kind of danced around a little bit. I kind of did it, but not. I wouldn't put myself in any situation where I could fail.
Were you hanging out with people in the comedy scene, or how did that door open up?
Yeah, man. But what I would do is like the comedy club would have like a contest, funniest, whatever, this kind of person, and they were basically just amateur nights or whatever, where they wanted you to bring people. So I would do those, to kind of dance around, not doing it for real, but also that was good for me because it helped me test the waters, whether I wanted to do it or not, and then just came to a point where it was just like, all right, I think I'm doing this, man. So let's do this for real now.
Yeah. Do you remember the comedy club where you first went to? Did it, or was it a mic?
Stand Up New York.
Stand Up New York.
In New York City.
Yeah.
And then Jersey and New York had tons of mics, back in the late '90s and early 2000s. So like everybody, man, I would try to do like 4 sets a night. I used to go down I got in at the Comedy Cellar, but I would get I'd get the 1:50 a.m. spot.
Damn.
The last spot of the night.
Yeah.
So they've been going since 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And crowds come in and out because it's New York. So.
Yeah.
But and I would go after like Louis C.K. and Nick DiPaolo and Dave Attell would just destroy the room, devastate the room. 90% of the people would leave, and then they'd be like, and now. Your final act. But that's the shit that makes you tougher, man.
Yeah, it does, right? That's what really makes you a better communist.
Listen, I want to be the best communist I can be.
Because you hear those stories too in LA, like those last pots in the original room, like those are the spots that really get you strong, because when you're doing your joke in front of like 3 or 4 people, it's like, I don't know, it kind of feels a little gross. Like, they know it's an act. There's only 4 people here.
Yeah.
I'm all acting all goofy because I'm all goofy. I'm physical, whatever. You haven't seen my shitty set, right?
No.
Okay, cool.
No.
Hopefully next time we could do Butch's show.
I was watching some of your stuff on Instagram or whatever.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, no, I saw you. You were here the last time I was here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I caught a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
So I have seen. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yeah, man, it's it's crazy, man. It's just again, everybody has their own method to their madness and how they throw down, and that's the beauty of it. That's why I never look at another comic and go, oh, maybe I should be more physical, or maybe I should be less physical, or maybe I should be more deadpan. It's like we just all do our own thing, man.
Yeah, everybody does their own thing. And as long as you're doing your own material, right?
Well, that's the thing. So young comics ask me all the time. They go, well, give me some advice. And I'll go, okay. I'm going to tell you something. You're going to think I'm blowing you off, but this is the advice. Number 1, be nice. Mm-hmm. Number 2, do your time. Number 3, don't steal material.
Yeah.
And they'll go, come on, man. I go, no. Do you know how many comics can't do those 3 things?
Yeah.
I know. I know it sounds like I'm goofing on you, but that's really all it's about, man. Just be nice. If you go and work at a club and you don't like it, or the room's not right for you or whatever, don't go on Facebook the next day and MF the club. Yeah. What is that going to buy you? You know, you're not right. No comic's right for every room. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just go, I'm not, maybe I'm not good for this room or whatever. Yeah. And if you want to work there, then learn to work the room. Yeah. That's all. But don't, and then don't steal material. Right. Yeah. Because those people get douched out eventually, and do your time. That's why it's hard for me to do topical stuff, because everybody's going to come up with something similar, like sometimes topical shit, like that. I admire Jim Norton so much because he does topical shit. Who's that? Jim Norton. Yeah. He does his topical, like he'll do some topical stuff and he'll put it online too, because it's everybody's putting their clips right now. Yep. Putting clip, and he likes to put these clips that he's probably not going to use in the future, but he likes to put up clips also where he bombs. Oh yeah. Right? Yeah. He likes doing that. I'm like, this is so cool. Well, because we're such huge fans, and we all opened for Dice for years. Me and Norton and Florentine. And one of our favorite albums of all time, and maybe I'm going to turn you on to this for the first time, but he has these albums called The Day the Laughter Died. Yeah. Oh, you know these? Yeah. He filmed it at... well, the first one's at Dangerfields in the city. Yeah. And it's just him babbling that for an hour and 45 minutes in front, like in the midnight crowd. Yeah. And it's half-baked material. Okay. Him just, messing with the crowd, right? Yeah. And he's bombing. But meanwhile, he had just sold out Madison Square Garden and all this stuff, right? So we love that stuff, man, because it's such a goof, to put out an album. And he's got 3 of those. Yeah. 3 albums where he's bombing. Mm-hmm. Wow. Amazing. Like, what comic does that? Yeah. That's crazy, man. Isn't that one of them where somebody heckled and said, you're about as funny as a glass of milk? As a bottle of milk. Bottle of milk. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go back and re-listen to that, man. I know they're out there on YouTube now. People just uploading them in or Spotify. I found it on Spotify. Yeah. All his albums are on there. But it's funny, man, because like when I was like in college, man, me and my friends would listen to The Day the Laughter Died. Yeah. And I'd be like, why would he do this?
Yeah.
I don't. Why would he's the biggest comic in the world at that time, right?
Uh-huh.
And this is what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then when I met him, I couldn't imagine him not doing that.
Yeah.
Once you get to know him, everything's about the goof. Like he'd always ask me, "You think this would be funny?" And it'd be like the most horrible idea. And I go, "Of course it'll be funny, because no one will laugh at it except me and you."
He's all about the goof, huh?
It's always about the goof.
I hear that when he goes to like a store, like he's always trying to bring down the price.
Oh, constantly.
Like a regular store is not even a bargain.
Or getting freebies.
Yeah.
He'll beg people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he loves going shopping for underwear and socks. And he'll be like, he goes, hey, can you give me I'm buying 12 pairs of socks. He goes, can you give me a break? Can you give me buy one get one free? And the guy goes, Dice, I'm a fan, but
I'm getting in trouble.
I'll get fired from a job. He'll be like, please, I beg of thee, please give me a discount. So it's like you're a grown man, but it's the same. This circles back to what we said at the top. We never grow up.
No.
Even Dice, who's played every arena in the country, who was the biggest comic in the world forever, he's still a child.
I heard this story from Ari Shaffir that when people would ask a picture with him, they already knew what to do. You cut off the heads, and then you just angle it. And like, good. It came out really good.
Before cell phones.
Before cell phones, yeah.
People hand you one of those disposable cameras, and you just take like the mid-body shot.
Yeah. Yeah, then they have to wait a couple of weeks until they develop it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, motherfucker. Yeah, it's. How long did you open for him?
I did like 10 years with him.
10 years.
Yeah.
And it was you, Jim, Florentine, and Jim Norton.
Yeah, he started taking Norton out.
Yeah.
Then when Norton started to get big, he needed somebody. Then Florentine came in. And then I met Dice in probably like 2000. He played the Garden again. And Florentine, I went, Norton opened, and Florentine introduced me. So he goes to my friend Don Jamieson. He's a comic. He's like, everyone's a comic. You're a comic? All right. Yeah. I go, no, Dice, I'm telling you, believe me, I'm next in line. I'll be opening for you eventually. He goes, yeah. All right, we'll see.
Damn.
And then like 2006 or 7, I remember he called Florentine to do some gigs. And he's like, and Jim couldn't do them.
Yeah.
So I left him a voicemail, and Jim played it for him. He's like, who's the kid you hang out with, the little boy? I don't know what his name is. So I was the little boy for years on the road. And send him down to do these shows with me. And that's when I started.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
And he's phenomenal, man. He's one of my good friends. Just such a great dude, man.
It must have been surreal, right? Like, you used to listen to his albums, and now you're over here opening for him. That's insane.
Well, you know what it was, man, too? So when I opened for him in Jersey, so he had like 7 shows lined up, and all I cared about was like, if he doesn't like me for whatever reason, I opened for my idol.
Yeah.
One time, like if you said, hey, thanks, man, but I can't use you anymore, I would still worship him. Like, I opened for Dice.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like even just once.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to turn into 10 years.
That's how I feel like with Joey
Diaz,
I got to open for a few times, and then the last big show we did before the pandemic was at Treasure Island. I've never performed in a theater. It was a Circus Olay theater. He packed that place.
Yeah.
And you would hear about the COVID thing, people coughing. I was coughing. I think I had COVID maybe, because I remember I had a one of those cough drops, so I wouldn't. But I was coughing on people coming in. He took a picture with every single person. And people, because I was part of the show, they're taking pictures with me. I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck? Yeah. And it was, again, surreal because he's one of my heroes, For sure. And I love Joey.
But and that's the important thing with that too, man, is playing a theater, man. Much different from playing the club.
Yeah.
Man, it's it's a totally different timing and everything. So when somebody like that, like a Joey or a Dice, and I was going out and playing theaters, you have to learn to adjust to that timing.
Yeah.
You play a 2,000 seat place, you got to wait for that laugh to come around the room.
Yes.
Yeah. In the clubs, man, you're a pile driver, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like you have to time yourself, right? Because You can't just go through your set right away. Like, you got to actually enunciate, right? Did I say that right? Enunciate. Enunciate.
But you enunciated. You pronounced it wrong, but you enunciated it well.
Thank you. There's going to be a clip one day of how many times I fuck up words.
But that's a great thing. Like I say on stage about, you got to use pronouns now. The right pronouns for people now. I'm like, I'm a comic. I just learned what an adverb was like a year and a half ago. Like,
what is an adverb?
Exactly, right? We don't grow up.
No. Yeah, no. Do you have any kids?
I don't.
No, me neither. Jim has a kid. Jim Florence.
Yeah.
I don't have any kids either, but I feel like when you see somebody like Jim Florence that has a kid, and it's like, even though you have a kid, you have all these responsibilities, but it's like you don't grow up. You still do silly things that are fun. Like Big J and Louis J. Gomez, fathers, they both have kids.
Totally, right.
Well, next week they're doing a competition, basketball game, a video game, NBA 4K, something like that, and 20K, whatever it's called.
Whoever loses, but whatever K it is,
whatever, But it's a popular basketball game. Well, they're gonna play each other on a live giant theater room, and the loser is gonna take a Nintendo gun up the butt. Remember the old Nintendo, the Duck Hunt?
Oh man!
The loser is gonna have to bend over.
That's gonna go right in.
It's gonna go right in. Last time they did a gun in the butt was they used Anthony's gun. Did you hear about that?
Oh no!
So they had a different competition, and it was a one-on-one basketball game. Big J lost, and they had to find a gun, and they asked Anthony Cumia if they could.
Well, he has real guns.
He has real guns, so they used the real gun. And they put a condom over it, and they shoved it up his ass. It's like we're all like in our 40s. Like, what the fuck?
Between Big J and Lewis, I could see Big J being able to take it maybe a little bit more, But that's great. I don't go to those areas, man.
No,
but I know those guys are hardcore, man.
Yeah.
And I love, and they're insanely funny.
And I know you got to get going, bro. So let me just ask you.
I don't even know
what time. How are we looking on time? 6:02.
We're good, man.
Good. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I appreciate this, man.
Yeah,
thank you, man.
Thank
it's
you.
been good meeting you too, man.
Yeah, bro.
It's been cool coming out to Vegas and meeting other comics and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm out here a lot now, so it's been cool.
What'd you say to me last time? You're like, you guys are all nice to each other.
Comics like each other out here. This is weird. I went and reported back to the comics on the East Coast, and they're like, I never heard of that.
Yeah.
The Jersey, I'll tell you this, man. I was lucky, man. The Jersey comics are that way, man. And some, coming up, the New York comics could be very cliquey, man. Mm-hmm. Because everyone's going for the gold, man, and I get it, man. But like comic, you walk in a room and comics are like, oh, I just got this, I'm doing that, and go, hey, man, I'm looking at my notes, man. I got to go on stage. I'm not a genius like you, and you could just talk to everybody in the room and then just go on stage and be fabulous. Like I'm looking at my set list, man. I'm going through the material in my head. I don't give a shit that you just got a sitcom pilot. Good. I'm glad. But when I get off stage, we'll go get coffee and you can tell me all about it.
Yeah.
But right now, I want the same stuff that you do.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm doing. You're a comic.
Mm-hmm.
You see me looking at my notes.
Yeah.
But the Jersey comics, man, have always been supportive, man. So, coming up with Norton, Florentine, Bob Levy, Rich Voss, all those cats, man.
Yeah.
Everybody helped each other out, man. Like if someone got in a club, man, then you pulled your friends in.
Yeah.
And they did the same for you. So
yeah, because that's what I heard Keith did for Big J and Kevin Hart, when they were
Keith Robinson, yeah.
Yeah, Keith Robinson. He would take him to Philly, take him to different places and introduce them to people. And took him in. He took him under their wing, pretty much.
Yeah.
And David Tell does that as well, right? Like he has his openers as like, they go on the road, and I guess
it's like what Bill Burr's doing. He's got Paul Verzi, he's got Joe Bartnick, he's got Dean Del Rey, he's got his crew of guys, man.
Yeah.
And now those guys are all blowing up, man.
Yeah.
So and then Joey Diaz, who now we got in Jersey.
That's badass.
Which is so cool because he loves being back in Jersey.
Yeah.
And he's the same way, man. He's putting me on shows. He's putting other comics on shows that he likes.
Yeah.
And look, I still feel like after 22 years, man, like, oh man, that's cool, man. Joey's putting me in front of his crowd now, and he wants you to score. It's not like. let me put this guy on because he kind of sucks, and I can follow him. He's like, okay, go out and fucking destroy those cocksuckers.
Yeah, no, he's an amazing person, man. I sent him a message the other day. I'm like, sometimes I get a little too touchy, kind of like I say, you know what, man? I listened to an episode with Lisa, and I'm like, it was so good to see him and his co-host reunite because during COVID, he ended his other podcast.
Yeah.
And Lisa went his own way, and to see them together again, I sent him a long message saying, hey, man, thank you a lot. I'm always inspired by everything you do. And he talked about bombing on that episode too.
Yeah.
He went on this whole rant about bombing, how you need to bomb, and you got to get it out of the way because that's going to make us better.
Yeah, I remember he hadn't done comedy in like probably over a year, and he came to Jersey, and I probably saw one of the first sets he did.
Yeah.
After that,
wow.
And of course he did great.
Yeah.
But as a comic, I could tell he was struggling because he just it's hard to get back into that rhythm, man.
Yeah.
Even a guy like him who's so good.
Yeah.
But it's tough. But again, there's only one way to do it. You got to get up there, man. You can't talk into a hairbrush in your bedroom into a mirror. That's not going to help you.
Like the king of comedy, Robert De Niro. Just pretend you're doing your own set.
Doing a show.
And I guess, another thing I was going to ask you, do you, Jim, Florentine, and Joe, you guys go and gig together quite a bit?
We've been doing a bunch of stuff together because Joey has a little Jersey residency at our home club, which is called Uncle Vinny's Comedy Club in Point Pleasant. Well, it's about 175. But Joey just does like Wednesdays there.
Okay.
Sells out instantly.
Yeah.
So we kind of rotate going down and opening.
Oh my goodness.
And then we're going to be doing some bigger shows with him now that he's back in his.
Yeah.
Now he's at level 10 again.
Yeah.
So we're going to just go do some casino stuff with him and some bigger shows,
That's awesome, man. What nights is his residency?
He usually does them on Wednesdays. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you come out.
Yeah. Lizzie and I got to make a trip out there.
Yeah.
If she can't come, I definitely got to go over there.
It's a great room. I recorded a live stand-up album in that room.
Really?
It's a good spot, yeah.
What's your latest stand-up album?
It's called Denim and Laughter. I put it out in February 2020.
Okay.
So, all the stuff that I'm doing now is working towards, it's the uphill climb for the new 45,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That when you do the album, do you drop it all completely when you're working out your new material?
You can't do completely.
No.
But eventually you weed it all out. So.
Once you start working out the new material, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, because you can't. You don't just the next day you have another 45.
Yeah.
After the album comes out.
Yeah.
But obviously you're still writing, and there's things that just didn't make it on the record. You just didn't have time to develop it.
Yeah.
So then it's like, that's all the stuff you're already working out for the next record.
Wow.
So I'll probably record it like January and come out next year sometime.
In January. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Do you have an idea where to do it? Like you pick the spot?
I like to do my albums in oddball places. So I did Denim and Laughter in a speakeasy. In Los Angeles, literally an illegal club in LA.
Really?
That nobody knew about, and people had to go to the Facebook invite, and then we emailed them in the morning to give them the address because we don't want to get shut down by the cops. But it was a place in North Hollywood, but with a bar and legit place, all wired for sound, perfectly beautiful, great stage and everything. And
it's an actual speakeasy.
Yeah,
because they got them here in Vegas, but they're there's permits. They go behind a wall, there's no special door.
There was no permits.
This is a legit speakeasy.
No permits.
Damn.
LA County knew nothing about this place. But part of me was like, that'd be great ending to the album if the cops raid the place.
Yeah.
And they drag me out of there. Just like, good night, everybody. As I'm being handcuffed.
Yeah. Damn. That's crazy, man. Yeah. So they probably have quite a few of them around LA then still probably.
I'm not sure, but I just as soon as my friend told me about the guy's girlfriend, who's a friend of mine, she told me about it. I got to do it there.
Yeah.
I go, send me pictures. I want to see it.
Yeah.
And it looks like an old speakeasy from the 30s. It's got that whole vibe and with the lighting and all that stuff. And so, I think that I might do the next one at this pub called McSorley's in New York City. There's never entertainment in there or anything. It's just an old school. It's like the oldest, like Abe Lincoln drank at McSorley's back in the day.
Yeah.
That's how long that pub's been in New York City.
Wow.
And I've been going there for years, man. And so I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll do my album here, man. Just big old wood tables, sawdust on the floor.
Yeah.
They only have their beer, McSorley's ale, light and dark. There's no booze. There's no, If you ask for a water, they're like,
you got beer water.
Go out to a deli and get water. We just serve beer in here.
Just beer.
Yeah, they're old school. Yeah. Cranky Irish guys and stuff. So I might do it there. But I always try to find an interesting place to do it, man. Because look, I'm not the best comic in the world. So I try to the vibe of the album. I try to make it a part of what I do. Mm-hmm. So when I did my one at the Jersey Shore, I wanted the Jersey Shore vibe. Like people had just come off the beach with their coolers and stuff, and like a girl knocked a wine bottle off the table and it clanked across the floor. And I told my editor, leave that in, leave all that stuff. Like I want the vibe of where I am. Yeah. Because sometimes you see specials or you hear comedy albums and the person's destroying, but they could be in Kansas City, they could be in Dallas, they could be in Nicaragua, they could be in Prague.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, well, if I'm not up there with the big dogs, then at least I could do something a little different with the vibe of where I record my stuff. So
yeah. And do people after they listen to you, like, I'm pretty sure you get this, like, oh, I listen to you all the time on Pandora or something like that. Yeah. They're like, so that, like, for example, the person that told you the other day, he knew about your comedy, but he had no idea that you also interviewed rock stars, stuff like that.
No idea.
Yeah. And let me ask you about that. Do you have, like you say, you have different things that you do. Like tonight, you're going to go see
Alice Cooper.
And you're friends with the band, and they might come hang out tomorrow.
Oh, they're definitely coming here.
Okay, yeah. Well, I can't wait to see you tomorrow to perform and meet them. That's pretty cool.
Well, because all bands want to be comedians, and all comedians want to be rock stars. So
very true, very true.
But they're hardcore, man. Like that's what they do. They golf, and they go to comedy clubs.
Nice.
Yeah.
What you had mentioned last time that you've opened for bands too. Which bands?
Yeah.
Did you open?
Man,
for?
I've done Twisted Sister. I've done Zakk Wylde from Ozzy's band. I did this band Pop Evil, Faster Pussycat, Anvil. Just did this tour with this band, the Dead Daisies. So I've been on the road with a bunch of people, man.
Well, doing comedy in a club is one thing. Doing it in a theater, like you said, is a different animal. Yeah. I couldn't imagine how it is in front of a crowd that came to see a band.
If I had no recognition factor with the rock crowd, I would never do it. But people know me from that metal show, and I still have enough recognition, so it's not so weird. And then also, I have a completely separate set from my nightclub set. Just music jokes. Bands, musicians, music. So I have a 30-minute direct support set that I talk about Black Sabbath, Alice Cooper, AC/DC, all that stuff. So
that is dope.
So, but it reminds me of the old days when you used to play in bars, and the TVs were on, and people didn't even really know there was a show, and you had to go out and just attack right away, just anything to get their attention. That's how the rock shows are, man. You just got to come out hot, man.
Yeah, you go out there. I'm sure. Multiple hecklers, right?
They're pretty open-minded to the comedy, man, before the music, because it used to be cool like long ago, and then it was so not cool forever.
Really?
So doing it again has been awesome, man. Because again, like that's part of my audience. So and I'm also not going up and my kids are crazy, because they'd be like, but if I go up there and start talking about Motorhead and Metallica and stuff like that, they go, all right, we'll give them a listen. Why not?
That's dope.
You still got to deliver, right?
Right.
But at least you're in that. I keep it in that world.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Well, that's badass, man. Well, let's plug one more time your website.
DonJamieson.com and all the socials.
Yeah. I'm going to put it on the screen and everything, and put all your handles on the information, the description. You guys make sure you follow him and tune into his show as well. You have clips of your show on the Compound Network. Mm-hmm. You have them on YouTube too,
and there's
right?
some on YouTube.
Yeah. So
like the subscribers see it first, and then they'll dump a bunch off for free on YouTube after everyone's kind of seen them.
And I just you do other people's podcast. I just heard you on Natalie Cuomo's podcast. You and
Natalie,
you and Jim Florentine. That was a great episode.
Yeah, we've been doing lots of shows with her too, man.
Oh yeah,
she's great.
She's hilarious.
It's great.
Sorry, at Skankfest.
Yeah.
She's great. So cool, man. Everybody check that out. Anything else you want to plug or anything?
I just want to say thank you for. I saw your video on Instagram of putting your clothes in the freezer.
Oh yeah,
that's a good tip, man. So
it's a good tip, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. You could. yeah. You're welcome. I learned about it on one of those online short videos, so I made my own.
It kills all the bacteria, right?
Yeah. It kills the bacteria, and you can look it up. It's real.
Yeah.
And when you put them on, your balls feel really good.
There you see. There's no better way to end this podcast than with a joke about your balls.
Yeah, you got to.
But it's true. And Terrorizing Telemarketers Volume 7.
Hell yeah.
Check it out, man. And thank you, man.
I'm forever grateful for you taking the time, man. Thank you, brother.
You as well.
Hell yeah.
All right, man.